Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Messi and Co. I'm Ashley with my awesome co-host Gian, and wow, we have so much to say, so much to talk about. The season hasn't already started yet, and I'm already aggravated. and yeah, it's been quite a week. But how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm going to say that I'm really excited to hear what you have to say because I know that you've got a lot on your mind. So I'm really looking forward to that.
I
But
just
yeah,
I
no,
hate.
it's
I'm
been
gonna
crazy. It's
preface.
been
I
crazy.
hate
Yeah.
being negative. I hate being
Yeah.
negative. Like people who have watched or listened know, I really don't like being negative. I like to be positive. Sports are fun. Sports are cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there have been some really crazy things that I just a lot we need to talk about. And just to kick it off, I mean, this preseason tour has been a nightmare. It's been a nightmare. It's been terrible. It has done nothing positive for this club. When we were speaking about this a couple weeks ago, when I was saying, look, this is cool. This is what you need to. This is how you got to become a global brand. Like, this is how you're like a Real Madrid or whoever. This is, these are the important things you do. It's maybe not fun, but all of those things I said are washed because basically what could have gone wrong did go wrong for this tour. On the field, our performances were terrible. We didn't win any of our preseason games, and while a lot of the teams we were playing, especially obviously in Saudi Arabia, were informed teams who are in the middle of their season, top of their division. Like important things to note, are definitely in different places, but the on the field product was not good. We saw a few injuries, which is something that we didn't want. Fadia obviously out for the year. Sergio Busquets, I think, is actually going to be okay. I think it just was like a scare, and I think he will be okay, but just like a very unnecessary thing to happen. Our team getting its ass kicked multiple times by these other teams, and making the organization look like a joke. Messi not playing in China. I mean, we have a lot of different topics I want to go into, but just from a bird's eye view, it was awful. And what was an understandable money grab, quote unquote, brand awareness, basically did nothing to improve the brand awareness, made the team look worse, caused injuries for the season, and did no positive PR. So I'm not very
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah. No, I kind of got that from what you said.
What about
That
you?
you're
What do you
not
think? I
happy.
mean, am I being too harsh? Like I don't know. I it was going to take a lot for me to be upset about this preseason tour. Like I said a few weeks ago, I think it's probably for the best. Well, I got upset about it. So
Yeah. So when the whole preseason tour got announced, um, obviously I think that we were a bit worried. Sorry about that. That was a weird intro there. But sorry, we are having technical difficulties, but it is fixed. So going back to what I was saying, as far as like when preseason first got announced, the preseason tour, I think that there were like mixed emotions in the sense of, okay, like you understand that this is something that has to happen for a team that's going to try to build a global brand, which is very much what Inter Miami is trying to do. And everybody knew that when you're bringing in top class players, like Messi, Ala Busquets, now Suarez, um, there's a bigger plan involved. It's not just the on the field stuff. It's obviously trying to get the name known, trying to build a business. You've got a big market like Miami, and then trying to make it go global. So that was understandable. Um, the part that was a bit difficult for me, I guess, or probably for a lot of people, was um I guess how they went about doing that, because you've got teams like Barcelona, teams at Real Madrid, teams from Premier League that do things like this where they go and play abroad. But I can't remember the last time that there was this much travel involved, like with other
these
teams. Like,
many games in that short of a time,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like they'll come to the US and they'll do a US tour, right? Like I've seen teams do that. The Barcelona or other European teams will do a US tour. They'll play in Miami, then they go play in Dallas, and they go play in New York. Um, but it's all travel within one country. I don't know how many times I've seen a team go to so many different countries in such a short span. If anybody can remember that, make sure to comment on the YouTube or tweet us, let us know, or X us. But yeah, I think that was that was strange. Like the fact that there was just so much travel involved that even Messi recently said he's tired. Like he is so over it. He can't wait to play. He couldn't wait to play the last game before this last one against Vissel Kobe, that he just wanted to go home. So players are tired. Yeah, players are athletes.
We
Yeah,
haven't started the season yet, Gian. We
yeah,
haven't
no,
started the season.
exactly. We haven't started the season. He's tired. I mean, these are world
4
top
trophies we're going for.
athletes. Yeah, guys that are in tip top shape, have the best nutritionists, have the best physical therapists, everything. And these guys are tired because, I mean, yes, they try to manage some of the minutes in the game, but still, like it takes a toll on you to travel. So I think from that perspective, it's kind of a failure in that perspective. Like you've really drained this team before even one game of the season. And they still got one more left against Newells, I believe, which at least now they're going to have about a week's rest, which is something they haven't. I don't think that they've had throughout this preseason so far. So hopefully that'll help some guys out. From a business perspective, and there's like the visibility. Okay, yeah, they got the visibility, but not in the best light. Like I think that what they wanted to do, and what MLS was as an organization was excited about was to get one of their teams out and in front of all these different international crowds and on TV and all that. But the product was not a good product that was put on the field, and it made MLS look bad. And I know that MLS has been, I mean, we've heard the back and forth between what's a better league, MLS or Saudi, and that sort of thing. Man, it looks like Saudi if you go based off what you just saw. And again, I understand, and you mentioned it, actually, like these are against some of the top teams in Saudi, and they were in mid-season form, but man,
but then we shouldn't have put ourselves in those situations.
No, yeah, exactly. So those are things that weren't taken, I think, weren't thought out well enough because the product looked terrible. Now, did they sell a lot of jerseys and all that? Yeah, like I'm sure they made a killing. They made a killing because I saw some of those lines, pictures and videos of some of those lines. Man, they made a killing. So, you know what it feels like? It feels like it was about, and if you're hearing us on the podcast, I'm making a money sign. Like it was about money more than anything.
But it's about money for everyone, Gian, and their organizations can do it about 1 million times better than Inter Miami just did it. It's for money for Barcelona, it's for money for Real Madrid, it's for money for Manchester United, it's for money for Arsenal. They don't do it out of the goodness of the game. They do it because they want money and their brand to be in the United States too. But they can do it in a far better way than we just did. And so it's just disappointing because it seems like there's every opportunity over the last year that is, besides signing these players, which look, I'm never going to signing Messi is the greatest that's happened and it's going to be celebrated for a very long time. But every opportunity they've had to make a good impression and the right impression and do the right things, they haven't.
Yeah,
and
but these teams put a good product. Like the teams that you're talking about, that teams, all these teams that do these tours do it for money, but they put a good product on the field.
I know, that's why I'm saying it doesn't make sense. That's why it's a problem.
How many practices did we have before we went out on this preseason? So I think we had like a week of practice, and then we were already playing games. I think it could have
been Asia or Saudi Arabia. It shouldn't have been both. And it really should just have been Asia. It shouldn't have been Saudi Arabia. I understand it was Saudi Arabia because they wanted to, the Messi versus Ronaldo, but that didn't end up happening. And so it screwed everyone over. But if we were to just have gone to Asia, they would have been tired and you never know what could happen. But okay, I understand it. You saw the lines of, thousands of people waiting for the jerseys, and you understand the roar for Messi, 40,000 people going to the training. Great, that's all fine. But you didn't, they were so it's so greedy that they tried to do all of it. If they had just done part of it, I couldn't have told you how much I understood it. 100% go to China and Japan, get the money. You're spending hundreds of millions on Messi. Yeah, great. Understood. But then, they could have known that they were playing against two teams who were going to be in top form with the most expensive players in the world. And this was without Ronaldo and Neymar even playing. They were
Yeah.
supposed to play. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is without them even playing. And both games, we really got our ass kicked. And so it's disappointing. And it didn't give people what they wanted. And,
That's
if
it's
you're going to
just
do things for money, you have to kind of compensate it. And I just don't think they are doing that right now
yeah. I
with these
totally
decisions.
agreed. I think that, other than obviously making the team, like putting the team through a lot physically before the season starts. Um, Other than that, like I think that part of the preseason is, yeah, getting playing time, but also like building momentum as you go into the season, figuring things out from a coaching's perspective, testing out your strategies and all of that. So for me, like going into the season, I don't think morale is that high. Like you don't have you're not going in with like an impulse of good play, because okay, I wasn't really looking at this preseason looking for, they needed to win every game, and that's what I just wanted them to play well, right? Yeah, if you win a bunch of games, that's cool, but they just didn't seem like they were playing well. Um, at least now towards the end, we had, we'll talk about that, but there were some changes that were done, and we looked a little better. But morale perspective, like I don't know where the morale is with this team, and I'm not going to go ahead and say that it's down or bad, but if you really go based off of what we've seen, like I'm not really too happy with probably the energy that we're going to go into as we start the season. Like it just doesn't seem. Everybody seems tired. Everybody just, I don't know.
And like the world was laughing at this team.
Yeah,
Like, let's be honest, lose 6-0 and or wherever the end up score was against Ronaldo's team. Like, it was such a bad look. The players, like, it didn't look good. And you're right, preseason is about kind of like getting those kinks out, figuring it, all those, what do you want to do moving forward? It's supposed to get you ready. But this is what should have been part of the planning, is that this did the opposite of that, which is it made players feel worse and feel bad about them before the season has even started. And
yeah,
so just it just missed on all levels. And it's a shame because I understand, it's like the devil and the angel on my shoulders. Like, I can understand that they're trying to maximize the impact of these 3 or 4 Barcelona players. Like, I understand it, and they should, because the idea is it's going to make an impact for the next 10 years of this club or whatever. It's so important. But you just have to, like, it's thinking such short term that you're missing out on some of these moments. Like, if, let's say, the game against Al Hilal was our last preseason game and it ended, we lost by 2, but we had scored 3 goals, I think people would be feeling good. We
yeah,
saw the game against El Salvador to Dallas to Al Hilal, a pretty big improvement in terms of, at least offensively, in each performance. And Drake Callender hasn't looked great, but the defense hasn't looked great. But you were seeing some improvements, and you can be like, okay, well, let's see what we got. Like, we're starting to score some goals. Let's see what the season has. And then what happens is that, no, let's play another 4 more games in this preseason and lose badly. And
yeah,
then now what's happened, so it's just like it's caused a problem. And then, now let's go off the field for a second. International incident with Hong Kong and Lionel Messi, which is that it's obvious that, a major part of this contract with all of these different countries and clubs was that they were going to see Messi play. That's why they paid all this money to host in Miami. Makes a ton of sense. But when you schedule 5 or 6 games within 10 days or whatever this stupid schedule ended up being, like, it wasn't feasible that he was going to be able to play in every single game. And to be fair to Hong Kong, like, I would be just as wildly upset if I was them. And
yeah. There
it's a
was a big
bad look.
investment into that. There was a big investment between promoter groups, between ticket sales, between all of that. I think that when you enter into a binding agreement like that with these different
Yeah.
cities, governments, and all that, there's an expectation, and when you don't fulfill that expectation, or you don't fulfill your side of the deal, I think there's you can expect these type of reactions and these types of things where they're probably I don't know what they're asking for, if it's money or what, but I mean, it's just poor planning. Like just going back to what we said from the beginning, it's poor planning and not setting the right expectations for the team, for fans, and people that are going to be involved in this entire tour. I thought honestly that Messi was going to miss more games. He got more playing time than I thought he would. But at the
Yeah,
end of the
which is, and
day,
I mean, he did the training in Hong Kong, which is how I'm sure they're going to get out of their contract agreement, trained on the field. And I'm sure that's going to be,
yeah,
in the fine print enough. But no, it's actually very surprising to me all the places that they chose. And I mean, because I have to imagine that like they make so much money, especially Adidas, like in China and stuff like that. It's
mhm.
just surprising to me. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's getting in the weeds, and maybe he really just was too sore to play. But yeah, I don't know. We turned a big corner, but it didn't look good on the field. Doesn't look great off the field. We've already sustained a few big injuries. Farias is a big injury.
Which is
Busquets,
just
like I said
unlucky.
earlier,
Like that Farias injury
Busquets
is
I think
obviously
will be okay.
Busquets will be fine. The Farias injury was obviously just unlucky.
Unlucky, yeah.
It could have happened at any. I mean, it
Right.
was.
No, and that's true. That one is true. I think I agree with you 100%. That was like a injury that could have happened anytime, anywhere.
I'm just glad that like exact for Messi, Messi, he is able to read his body so well,
Yeah,
and is very cautious with himself. So just the fact that he felt a certain something that he decided not to, because I forgot exactly what exactly he felt, but he said that he felt like he tweaked something. Not
yeah,
that he's injured, but that he kind of tweaked something. So he was just out of
like
precaution. He
preventative.
didn't
Yeah,
want. Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean that's what
I mean, we'll be happy about it because
yeah.
hopefully it means we're gonna get he knows himself well enough to be able to play the maximum amount he can play this season. But yeah, it's tough
I would
business.
say that based off of like the on-field stuff that we saw, for
Yeah,
me, one thing I'm finally happy with
a 4-3-3.
is is the 4-3-3. We finally left that god awful 5-3 or 3-5, whatever you want to call it, two up top. That was one of the worst things that I've seen, and that it took him like 3 games. That I think on the fourth he finally switched it to the 4-3-3. So I'm just happy that we jumped that hurdle because the team plays so much better in that 4-3-3 scheme than they do in that whatever mess that was
Yeah,
before. And I mean, I think, and I'll give this back to you because I'm sure we're thinking the same things. We saw some players in that 4-3-3 scheme that were like, this guy has to start. What did you see? What players did you see in that 4-3-3? Like, okay, yes, this formation works, but these are players that I cannot believe we're not starting in the first 3 games.
I mean, Robert Taylor, even though he missed
Yeah.
his penalty, he's still.
Yeah, but
I
they
I
yeah, they don't care about that. They
I
were
know, but
laughing.
no, it was funny. It was funny. Robert Taylor. I would love if he started, but he's not going to. Like, he's not going to start every game with Suarez. He's just not. So it's like it's just not going to happen. So I just am accepting that, and you need to also, even though you don't want to.
Wait, what makes you? But what makes you think that? What makes you say that?
They could start some games together, but there's just because you need to have a striker on 90 minutes, and they're not going to both play 90 minutes every game.
But Robert Taylor's playing on the left wing because you've
I know,
got
but
Taylor on the left and you got Suarez in the middle, and you'd have Messi on the right.
where is Campana?
Campana's not going to. It's to me.
That's
It's
what
going
I
to be
just said. I
Campana.
said Campana and Messi. I said Campana and Messi. I didn't say Taylor. I said Campana and Suarez.
Wait, but Campana and Suarez are. You're saying that Campana and Suarez are going to start or should
No,
start
I'm saying
together?
they can't start together because I'm saying Campana played really well in the games he just played in. And so what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, you're saying who would I like to play? I was like, I wish we could be playing Campana starting every game, but we can't. Is what I'm saying. Is so.
Okay. No.
So I
Yeah. So
agree with you.
obviously. Okay. No. So obviously those two are going to be interchangeable. It's going to me. It's going to be Suarez or
But
Campana
I wish we
starting.
could have him. I wish I could see Campana more because I think Campana has great value, but
Yeah.
it's never going to get in ahead of
But what about
Suarez.
Taylor?
Taylor
Gonna.
is no. Taylor is.
Yeah.
Taylor's playing. I agree with Taylor, but I
Yeah.
was saying based on what I saw, I wish we could play Campana more. I don't think we can in this
Yeah.
particular iteration. No. It's going to be Taylor on the left, Messi on the right, Suarez center, I think. I mean, if it
Yeah.
isn't, then that's crazy. But that's what
And
I imagine
then
it's going to be.
and then for sure in the midfield, it's got to be Gregory and Busquets are
Gregory
your
and Busquets. And then
your
you're going to, I think,
untouchables.
Mota, I think is gonna between Mota and Ruiz. I think you're gonna see. It would have been Krosky, but obviously Kromowski's not playing. But
But
Ruiz
he's
has
out
done a
what for a
great
few
job
weeks
of.
though.
Hmm.
He's out for a few weeks though. I think he should be
Who?
back soon. Kremaski.
Kromowski?
Yeah,
I mean, no, I thought it was 3 months.
3 months. It was that bad.
Yeah, I thought. But I think Mota is more creative forward than Ruiz, but depends on what they need every game. So I think that's gonna be interesting. And then back four. I mean, we obviously have Alba, and I guess it's gonna be DeAndre Yedlin, even though we really didn't think it would be, but it is gonna be.
Well, I mean, it all depends too what they do with Gressel because I still can't figure out what's going to happen with Gressel because if you've got in the
Oh
midfield
my god,
again,
I
you've
forgot
got
about Gressel. Yeah.
yeah, you've got your untouchables which need to start. It has to be Gregory and Busquets. You need Busquets there. You obviously Gregory is going to be the guy that is going to do the running for Busquets and make sure that
Oh
he's
yeah,
right
it's gonna
there.
be Gressel. It's not gonna be Ruiz or Mota. I forgot about Gressel.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. That's what I was trying to figure out. Is it going to be Gressel or because you've got Ruiz, you've also got Diego Gomez too. So that could be
Yeah, who's
somebody
been
that plays
balling?
there. So again, I don't know who that. If we do that 4-3-3 formation, I don't know who's going to be in that third spot. And
Was
then where
Gressel
does
starting at right back? And didn't he start at right back one of the last times? No, am I imagining
he
that?
did? No, he did. He did.
Yeah,
That's why for me, Gressel, I feel like is probably from the looks of it. If he's not the third one in the midfield, then he might take Yedlin's spot,
Yedlin's spot.
or he might just come in as a substitute. I think there's a
Super
big
sub, yeah.
likelihood, yeah, that he comes in as a sub, either at right back or somewhere in the midfield, which he did last season. He
Yeah.
played a lot. He towards specifically more towards the second half of the season. He was playing a lot more,
Yeah.
coming off as a sub. So I could see that happening again this season for Inter Miami. And then in the midfield, in the backfield, Freire is supposed to start. I think if it's going to be him and Toto.
Yeah.
I think that then yeah, on the left it's going to be Alba, and then on the right we'll have to see if it's Yedlin. But one thing that I thought was interesting, what did you think about? I think Sailor has some potential, so it could be.
I've been saying that.
Yeah,
I think Sailor deserves to be getting some of that playing time as a center back. I think he's I think he's a very in control center back. I don't think he's going to ever do anything that's going to wow you and win you every single match. But I also don't think he's going to make a lot of mistakes. I think he's going to do a very even keeled performance.
yeah, I think that is something. Like I liked what I saw from him so far this
Yep.
preseason. He's gotten a couple opportunities, and he's done well. Um, we could,
And no more McVay, so it's really him next in line.
yeah, it's him next in line. So you've got Christoph, which you've got the veteran presence there. But then I really think that Sailor, especially with the amount of games that we're going to have between all the cups and all the tournaments, I think that we could definitely see some more playing time for Sailor. So overall, I mean, I think we've got a really good team. Despite that terrible injury for Farias, there's a lot of still like midfield depth, but definitely Taylor's going to be the one that's going to take that spot for Farias.
I
Yeah,
mean, I agree. I think it'll be interesting to see what we start the starting lineups. I think it's, what we can only do as fans and as, we got out our anger and our frustration. We move forward. We hopefully stick with that 4-3-3. We start to be, keep coming into form. And, I also think you made a good point, Matt, about the mentals. Like, none of them were looking forward to that. Like, they knew it was going to suck, not because they didn't want to go to new places and be,
yeah,
beautiful people, beautiful cultures, which I'm sure they really got to enjoy, new fans. but their body and their mind was getting tested at such a crazy rate. They knew the world was watching. They knew they were being put in difficult positions against teams who were in very different places than they were in. And so I'm sure it wasn't very fun in that sense. And so now that that's done and it's over with, they're back and they keep, growing into hopefully something good and productive. It will be interesting to see. I think Gressel will I think he probably be starting in the beginning of the season. I'd be surprised if he wasn't. I think it would either be as the third midfielder, and if he's not the third midfielder, I think he'd be for back. Maybe we're wrong, but I forgot about him for a second. But I think he started to look much better towards those last couple of games. Like he made in my eyes already a big leap, which is more so the level I expected him to be playing at. And so I think that for this team, they need that from minute one. Because look, you saw in a couple of those games within the first 10 minutes, we had a 2 or 3 goal deficit. And so we need from minute one some of those strong heads, keeping things even keeled, keeping things moving that he's going to bring.
Yeah,
So
I
I think
think
you'll see.
Gressel, one of the things I noticed that he's going to bring, and he was a bit off in his preseason, but his passing, like even though sometimes the passes were a bit imprecise, like the vision was there, which is really
The
important.
vision, yeah, he was
Like,
getting much more comfortable towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that that's going to be really important, and I think that one thing I noticed, again, just going back to that 4-3-3, is just how it allows for a lot of what they call in Spanish sociedades. So it's like a society between, or association of two or three different players, and that allowed for that to be more organic or more natural, because we were able to see like Robert Taylor and Jordi Alba on the left, and them being able to play off each other and overlap with each other, things like that we weren't seeing in that awkward 5-3-2 or 3-5-2. Those are like, there were a lot of things that we had seen last season with that 4-3-3 that were very successful, that just threw all of that out of whack, and you weren't seeing that. I had actually written some of that stuff down when I was watching the game, but I had noticed that, and I was like, okay, this is good, because this is going to allow us to get back to some of the winning things that we were doing last season, where this strange like change kind of messed it up. We just looked so much better defensively. Oh, it's Noah
I'm just
Allen.
worried about
I
the
didn't even mean
scoring a
Jordi
little
Alba,
bit.
but yeah. But Noah Allen was playing left back when Robert Taylor was. But it's the same idea, because
it'll be Alba, yeah.
It'll be Jordi Alba, and that's what he excels at. Again, is just going up that left wing and playing off of, would it be Farias or Robert Taylor? Just that's going to work now. And the same thing on the right. I think that with that 4-3-3,
Busquets and Suarez, yeah.
Yeah, so I like that.
Powerful triangle.
No, 100%. So there are, despite there being like a lot of things that went wrong so far with this preseason, again, there's still being one game left. I think that at least we've seen some adjustments towards the last 2 games that do point to there being some bright spots for this team.
Yep.
And it shows that Tata is a bit hard-headed. He finally broke and realized, hey, some of the things I was doing the first 3-4 games weren't working. And I think that is something to build on. And I'm happy, because it really, for a while there, I was like, man, Tata, you got to realize and change some of these strategies. I know you're confident in what you're doing, but so it looks to me like I just want to see like this last preseason game here in Miami be like the culmination of all the little things that we did, play that 4-3-3, get the right players in the right spots, and that's going to be so important. That last game of the preseason is going to be so important going into the season, and we just need to make sure that we do things right. Again, whether we win or lose, that's not important. These guys need to play good. They need to play with each other, and they need to look like they're having fun. And that they're enjoying what they're doing, because it's looked a bit harsh at times. People have had the look of frustration and the look of tiredness, and just not understanding what's going on and what they're supposed to do and what their identities are on the field. Now, I think that as long as we can kind of, fix that here in this last game, we'll be good, because we got the talent.
Agreed. We can only go up from here. So it'll be hopefully we'll see some good. We'll start to see some more goal scoring. I mean, I don't know if there'll be any rust left on Luis Suarez finishing. Honestly, there can't be. Like there can't
Yeah.
be any left. Yes, I've gotten it all out of the system.
That's true. That's true. Hey, that's what the preseason is for. Get the rust out.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
you know, now he's gonna hopefully start scoring those goals that he usually makes. Because man, some of those goals, watching him do it in the Brazilian league, it was like effortless. So
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
rust, and that's what we're gonna go with right now. It's just rust.
It's just Russ. And you're right. We've officially wiped our hands of that blip of a preseason. Hopefully they made their money and they're going to invest it back and keep investing it into the team. And we only go up from here. We have 4 trophies to aim for this year. We have a lot of excitement in South Florida, in this community, for this team, for these fans. We're excited to keep kicking it. And me and Gian will be there every week, every step of the way, with hopefully more and more access and content to the team and to the players and to the press, even though I kind of just went in on them a little bit, but this is freedom of press, so I'm allowed to do that. Still love this team, and we're really excited for the rest of the season and to get this season finally started, get this last preseason game out of the way, be back to playing in South Florida and letting the ball roll.
For sure, for sure. We're excited to see what's going on, and we'll make sure, these last couple of games are really early, 3-5 in the morning. So we'll be sure to try to get some coverage for this last game that's going to be here at an appropriate time in Miami, and we'll try to get you guys some analysis as soon as we'll try. But probably hopefully the same day as
We
well.
can't 100% guarantee Tuesday, but we can guarantee that post-match live streams are coming back.
Yeah, that's
And
exciting.
we're
That's what I
excited.
miss. I miss
We
those.
love those. I love
Yeah,
those
those
too.
posts. Yeah, so we'll make sure to do that, and a lot of content coming your guys' way. So we just appreciate you guys being here with us.
Awesome. Okay, well, so then for this week's episode of Messi and Co., I'm Ashley. That is Gian. Thank you for listening or watching. Let us know what you think, and we'll be back next week.
Bye.